Hey Wildcats, today we're going to journal page 62, multiply and divide rational expressions. Multiplying rational expression steps. Step 1, factor the numerator and denominator. Step 2, divide factors to become 1. Divide rational expression steps. Step 1, rewrite as multiplication by the reciprocal. Step 2, factor the numerator and denominator. Step 3, divide factors to become 1. Okay, if you would update your notes. Okay, now your notes are updated. Let's take a look at the examples. All right, simplify the following expression, okay? So here, we're going to multiply across. So 3 times 5 is 15, and then 10 times 6 is 60. Now, you want to find a common factor between 15 and 60, and that is 5, okay? So we know that 5 times 3 is 15, and 5 times 12 is 60, okay? So you can see here that 5 divided by 5 is 1, okay? But we can reduce that more. We know that 3 and 12, we know that 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 times 4 is 12. Well, you can see here that 3 divided by 3 becomes 1, so it simplifies to become 1 divided by 4. Okay? All right, let's take a look at example 2. Now, when you divide by fractions, you flip and multiply. So this becomes 3 divided by 2 times 16 divided by negative 9. So you multiply across, but wait, there's actually an easier way, okay? You can actually rewrite this as 3 divided by negative 9 times 16 divided by 2. Okay, and the reason why you want to do that is you can see that 3 divided by negative 9 reduces to be negative 1/3 times 16 divided by 2 is 8. So this simplifies to be negative 8 divided by 3. Okay? All right, example 3. Again, when you divide by fractions, you flip and multiply. So that's 2/9 times 12 divided by 1. Okay? So again, let's rewrite this as 2 divided by 1 times 12 divided by 9. Okay? Well, we know that 12 divided by 9 reduces to be, well, 3 goes into 12 4 times, and 3 goes into 9 3 times. So this is 2 over 1 times 4/3. Okay? So then this reduces to be 4 times 2 is 8 divided by 3. Okay? Go and finish up examples 1, 2, and 3. All right, let's take a look at example 4. Okay, so now your first instinct is you'd want to multiply 2 times 15. But I would argue let's do this. 2 times 15, let's just leave it like that, okay? Now, when you multiply exponents, you add them. So you have 4x's here, 2x's here, that's x to the 6th, okay? And then y to the 5th, divided by, okay? Now, here, instead of multiplying 3 times 8, let's put the 8 underneath the 2 and the 3 under the 15. And then again, when you multiply exponents, you add them. So x squared and x cubed combine to be x to the 5th, and then y to the 2nd. Okay. Now, we can see here that 2 divided by 8 reduces to be 1 divided by 4 times 15 divided by 3 is 5. And then let's expand the x's. So that's 6 x's. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 5 y's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that's 5 x's in the denominator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's important to keep the x's and y's lined up. Okay, and then we have 2y, so 1, 2. Now, anything divided by itself is 1, so this divides and becomes 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So your final answer is 5 divided by 4. You have 1x in the numerator, 1, 2, 3y, so that's y cubed. Okay? All right, example 5. So again, you want to think about simplifying, but here's the thing. In this case, I don't believe anything divides out, so you're just going to want to actually wait. There is something we might be able to do. Oh, I almost made a mistake. You have to be careful. That's a division. So the first thing you want to do is when you divide by a fraction, you flip and multiply. So this is 4x cubed divided by 9x squared y times 9y to the 5th divided by 16. Okay. Now, you don't want to multiply these. You want to order them so we can simplify. So I'm actually going to put this as 9 times 4 x cubed. And actually, let's go from here. Let's just start expanding. So that's 3x's. So 1, 2, 3, and then 5 y's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I'm going to leave the 9 under the 9 and the 16 under the 4. And then we have 2x's. So 1, 2, and 1y. Okay. And what you notice is 9 divided by 9 is 1. 4 divided by 16 reduces to be 1/4. This divides and becomes 1, 1, 1. You're left with an x and 1, 2, 3, 4, so y to the 4th. Okay? All right, go ahead and finish that example up. All right, example 6. All right? So we want to factor everything, so that's x plus 2 times x plus 4. There's nothing we can do really factoring there. But we can factor 3x plus 12, so we can divide both of these by 3. So that's 3, which leaves times x plus 4. And then x squared minus 4 factors to be x plus 4, x minus, almost made a mistake. I'm sorry. X minus 2, or x plus 2, x minus 2. Now, at this point, you want to reorganize things and looking for that special one. So we're going to put the x plus 2 and x plus 4. We can leave that alone. There's nothing, and we're going to put a 1 here. Leave the 3 alone. But I'm going to put this x plus 2 first. Then the x plus 4. And x minus 2. And the reason I did that is because I see here that this divides and becomes 1. This divides and becomes 1. And you're left with 1 divided by 3 times x minus 2. Okay, let's take a look at example 7. Now remember, when you divide by a fraction, you flip and multiply. Now you're going to want to factor and flip and multiply, kind of save some steps because there's a lot going on in this problem. So let's go ahead and factor this first. So we can factor out an x cubed first. So it's x cubed, which leaves x squared minus 4 divided by, now this one we know 2 parentheses. We know x and x. Now you think about what two numbers multiply to give you -2 and combine to be -1. The only possible combination is -2 and +1. Okay? Now times, we're going to flip and multiply and also factor at the same time. So x squared minus 1 goes on top, but that factors to be x plus 1, x minus 1. And then we can factor out an x cubed from each of these terms, which leaves x cubed times x squared minus 1x minus 2. Now, you don't always have to rearrange them, but it's easier to see if you do that. So let's go ahead and reorganize this as x cubed. And actually, while we're thinking about it, we can actually factor x squared minus 4, which is x plus 2, x minus 2, times x plus 1, x minus 1. Okay? Now, because there's so many things going on, I'm going to shade out what I've already worked with. Now, we're going to move the x cubed under the x cubed. And this is where shading helps because you can see what's left. Now, I believe we have, oh, wait, I see something here. I see that x squared minus 1x minus 2, we've already factored, that's here. And we know that that factors as x minus 2 times x plus 1. So that actually goes here, x minus 2, x plus 1. Okay, so that's done. And then we can put the x minus 2, I guess here, because it doesn't matter, and the x plus 1 here. Okay, so it's really important how you rearrange things because you're looking for that 1. This divides and becomes 1. This divides and becomes 1. This divides and becomes 1. So you're left with x plus 2 times x minus 1 divided by x minus 2x plus 1. Okay, go ahead and finish up example 7. All right, now let's take a look at example 8. Okay, again, when you're dividing by a fraction, you flip and multiply. So that's 20 divided by x minus 1 times, and let's go ahead and factor that. That's 3 times x minus 1 divided by 6. Now, let's rearrange. So let's put the 20 divided by 6, and then that's x minus 1 divided by x minus 1. Okay? So now here we see that the x minus 1 divided by x minus 1 divides and becomes 1. Now we need to simplify 20 divided by 6. Well, we know they're both divisible by 2. We know that 10 times 2 is 20, and 3 times 2 is 6. Okay? Oh, almost made a mistake. You have to be careful. Sometimes it happens. I forgot to multiply 3 times 20, which 3 times 20 is 60. So that changes our problem a little bit. Now, if you ever make a mistake like I did here, you don't have to start the whole problem over. You basically fix your mistake and then you correct things afterwards. So here's really where the only thing that has to be changed. This changes it slightly because now we know that 30 times 2 is 60, and 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so then that divides and becomes 1. Okay, and then you can go further. We know that 3 times 10 equals 30, and 3 times 1 is 3. This divides and becomes 1, and then equals 10. Okay. All right, example 9. Again, when we divide by fractions, we flip and multiply. So that's 2 divided by x plus x divided by 4 times x divided by x plus 1. Okay. Now, here's the thing. We can't add these until they have the same denominator. So we need to multiply this by 4 divided by 4 and this by x divided by x. So now you have 8 plus 1x squared. They now have the same denominator, 4x, times x divided by x plus 1. Okay? Now, you actually don't want to distribute. You want to rewrite this with the x in front times x squared plus 8 divided by 4x times x plus 1. You want to be thinking about these problems looking for that 1. And you can see the x's divide out. So the x's divide out, and you're left with x squared plus 8 divided by 4 times x plus 1. All right, if you would, go ahead and finish up your examples and start working on your assignment. And have a wonderful Wildcat day.